Are you gambling as a trader and you don't even know it? No, this isn't a hotline outreach, although that is available. This is to talk about the distinct differences between something like trading and gambling, because they're very similar. There's a lot of overlap, but there are some very specific differences that have to be highlighted, because you would better believe there are an overwhelming number of traders that in effect are actually gambling. And as you know, gambling typically is not a really great way to build wealth over time. So the goal of this video is to go through that. And then at the end of the video, I have 3 distinct functions that are more specific to something like trading versus gambling to keep in mind. And as you know, we got to start with a disclaimer. So my name is Eric. I'm from the Outlier Trading YouTube channel. You can check me out there whenever you feel like it. I am not affiliated, not an employee of Barchart. I enjoy making content with them for you to share ideas, information. I'm not a financial advisor, and everything that we're talking about here is for information, to share ideas. So let's get straight into this conversation. So I made a little graph here to help highlight some of these differences for you. And I want you first to kind of prepare your mind, because there's 2 layers to this conversation. There's a definition / pedantic style debate about what gambling and trading is. And then there's more of a functional application. And what I mean by that is at the top here, I'm actually going to give you 3 definitions. So investing this is from Merriam-Webster. This is defined as to commit money in order to earn a financial return. Trading is the business of buying and selling or bartering commodities. And then gambling, the practice or activity of betting, the practice of risking money or other stakes in a game or bet. Now, by these definitions alone, if you take these at face value, there really is kind of a lot of overlap here, because in the process of trading or investing, you very much are risking money in a bet. Right? A bet is the process of putting up money for a return of some sort that's based on some sort of outcome. Now, that's the definition space. There are some really distinct differences from a practical application, though, and I want to talk about those. Now, when we take a look at this first row, I want to highlight a few things. So the whole idea of investing or trading is to make money, it's to profit. Gambling is far more for entertainment. Now, you likely have heard of people called professional gamblers. So there are people who literally create a system around gambling that is positively expectant. I would argue that that's more in line with trading or investing. So the entire context here, it's easy to get wrapped up on the terms and fight about the words, which I don't want to do. I really want to isolate the psychology and the general approach behind things in a broad sense. So for example, gambling is very much if you stop by the gas station, grab some scratch-offs, or if you're playing the Powerball, or if you go to Vegas on a bachelor party or bachelorette party. A lot of times gambling is designed more out of leisure. Same thing if you go to horse races. There are going to be the casuals that are just kind of betting on horses' names or whatever. And then there are going to be the people that are actually studying the horses, that know the lineage, that are actually approaching it far more like investing or trading. So in the context here, I want us to think about the general psychology of gambling in this context as entertainment. We're coming at this from the perspective of we're trying to have fun, we're trying to make some money, hopefully, but most people kind of know that the probability when we're doing something like gambling is a little bit different than something like investing or trading. Now, a couple other hallmarks here. For trading and investing is typically holding positions for greater than a year. Trading is sub 1 year. Gambling is generally very short term. That's not always, right? You can gamble on longer stakes, but again, speaking in generalities here, most people are gambling on things like fantasy football. They're gambling on things like roulette spin, right? So it's typically a binary outcome, either yes or no. And once you get to the end of the outcome is when you either don't get any money or you get a fixed payout of sorts. A little bit different, because in something like investing or trading, a lot of times you're holding assets or moving in between assets, and it's not a binary outcome. Things appreciate and depreciate in value over scale, which allows you to exit before the outcome is actually there. So for example, the recent election. You might have had ideas if it was going to be Harris or Trump that was going to win. You can put on your positions months in advance. And then based on how things start playing out as it gets closer, you can exit your positions for a profit or a loss before the event is even resolved. Gambling, you can't do that. Gambling, your money is committed to the endeavor until it's done. So if you play, again, blackjack, once you put a bet on the table and you take your hand off and they start the process, there is no reaching back in to take your money out. Your money is there. What's going to happen is what's going to happen. So another really big difference is, in general, gambling is going to be really short-term timeframes. Now, that can also occur in trading. So if you think about some traders that are trying to scalp or run zero DTE trades, which, to be clear, I actually like both of those strategies in context. But a lot of traders don't like them in the same context I do, which is understanding that there are certain conditions that those strategies are actually advantageous. A lot of people are just looking for short-term profit. That difference in mindset and approach starts to look a lot more like gambling versus something like trading. Next, skill required. Investing and trading, yes. Now, of course, you don't actually need skill to invest or trade. You can be a poor investor or trader, but if you're going to exist in the business long-term and make money, you absolutely have to have skill. It's unequivocal. In gambling, again, it can be argued either way, but in most instances, again, from an entertainment perspective, there's not a lot of skill. It's people that like the color red, so when they go to roulette, they put money on red. Whereas, again, there are professional gamblers, but that's a little closer to what I would consider to be investing or trading, where there's a system behind it. You notice that I keep emphasizing that point. That's a big differentiator here between something like investing and trading. Again, for people that are successful at it, is there's going to be a system. There's going to be an approach. Gambling, for the non-professionals that are kind of just leisurely trying to gamble, there's generally not a system. It's just kind of based on what you feel or what you think, or just having some fun. When you grab a scratch off, you buy the scratch off that looks cool. That's not a system. Now, performance. Performance in investing or trading is going to be an outcome of your skill, as I just said. So even traders or investors can have a ton of luck in the short term, and I wouldn't resolve that investing or trading is without luck. There's absolutely luck involved, even if you're very skilled. But the dominant function of your performance over the long run is going to be a result of your skill as a trader. In gambling, it's luck-based. And it's going to be typically based on the number of times that you go through something. And a lot of the things that you interact with as a gambler are actually negatively expectant. This is that term that you've likely heard before about house edge. The house always wins. Even if you play games that statistically have very low house edges, like blackjack with perfect strategy, if you're familiar with that. Or playing craps if you're laying odds, depending on what kind of odds the casino offers. That's a big difference in whether or not it's positive, how big the house edge is. But in those instances, you can find games that are lower house edge, but even games that tend to have low house edge still have house edge. If you stay there long enough, it will end up working out in their favor. This is why casinos ban people. Because if you have a trader or somebody that's taking it more seriously, counting cards, creating an actual edge that's positively expected for them, you can kind of detect it, and they don't want that happening. They want it to be based on luck that over the long run will resolve to their perspective, meaning their positive edge. So what are these 3 steps to not gamble? Super simple. First one is, do you have an edge? If you can't verbalize your edge, you are not investing or trading. You are gambling. So what that means is, if I'm playing blackjack and my edge is I like to hit on 18 because I'm psychotic and think that there's a 3, that's not an edge. That's crazy. Now, conversely, if you are a trader that is defined a niche maybe around earnings, for example, and you notice that in a certain series of companies, that implied volatility tends to be elevated compared to realized volatility through earnings. That actually can be an edge. You can quantify it, you can calculate it, you can project it, and you can use it to have a positively expected outcome. The next thing is having a defined plan. So even people that are professional poker players, for example, they have a plan. They have money management rules. That's similar to bet sizing, risk management. They have that down. That's part of their plan. So in trading, if you're just kind of putting stuff on and seeing how it goes, again, that's leaning much more towards gambling, because the result is just going to be a factor of whatever ends up happening, and you're just kind of along for the ride. Last thing, what is the motive for what you're doing? There are a lot of people in trading that are sensation seeking. They want the thrill of making money. Unfortunately for a lot of those people, they fall into some really bad behaviors like the disposition effect, where they hold losing trades way too short, small winning trades. Losing trades, they allow them to grow expansively into big losses. So the trader psychology is very different, but for a lot of people that start trading, it's much more based on sensation seeking. Whereas people like me that end up doing this for a living longer term, it's a business. I expect to have winning trades. I expect to have losing trades. I don't really care about either one, because in the long run, I know that the system will resolve to the expected return based on what I've built. So that is the big difference between trading and gambling. Do you have an edge that you can verbalize? That's the easiest litmus test. And then the second is, what are your motivations for what you're doing? If it's to have fun, if it's to get rich quick, that sounds a lot like gambling to me. So make sure that you think through what you're doing and avoid this path, because going down the gambling path typically doesn't resolve well for most people in the long run. There will be some people that are very lucky in the short term. They might make some money. That's awesome for them, but the majority of people will not have that experience. As always, if you have any questions, let us know. Be an outlier. We'll see y'all later.